Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode. Today I wanted to quickly run through the new tech strategy, if you will, on what to focus on early game and everything, kind of progressing, getting ready for when tier 11 troops drop. So that way, whenever those come out, you can go ahead and maximize your progress in here because there's only so many ways to get power for your troops. Hero tech, all that stuff, like anything hero related, does not affect this. So whether you have like the best gear in the game or you have your skills and everything else maxed out, none of that stuff matters. Tech, gorilla, and your hero levels are the only thing that make an impact. So let's talk about the tech and what you guys need to focus on for that. If you guys like videos like this, where I'm going back in time and walking you through, say, preseason 1 all the way through preseason 5, and then so on whenever we get something else, kind of how to prepare for these things when they come out to maximize, let me know in the comments below, leave a like, and let's jump into this. All right, so let's pretend like we are in preseason 1. You are working on two things. One, getting headquarters 30. Two, you are getting your tier 10 troops. And along that way, you're going to have to work on your versus tech. So you're going to have to work on your versus tech in order to get your special forces tech unlocked. So those two kind of go hand in hand. Other than that, development tree is probably the biggest tree to work on just because you want to get the build reduction time and then the research reduction time built up as fast as you can. So as you're doing your research, you're maximizing your efficiency there, and then also your building because you're pushing your building. So you want to have that efficiency maxed out as well. So development is very key for that. And then economy, you can do some of this kind of here and there, but I wouldn't go too crazy on worrying about like mining speed, or sorry, gathering speed, and then production increase, maybe a little bit on the coin side of things. But development tree for the building and tech speed up. And then obviously doing the hero tech along the way, you'll want to work on some of this. And then your big focus, though, is definitely going to be your versus into your special forces. So when you hit headquarters 30, you're going to work on the minimum to get down to the bottom. If you have questions about that, I've done tons of other videos explaining how to get tier 10 troops the fastest way possible. And you can get tier 10 troops for around 40% completion. So there's no reason to be maxing all this stuff out to get your tier 10 troops. However, after you get your tier 10 troops, you want to come back in here anyways because you need to get this up to 80%. So you'll want to come back and max out anything unit related for HP, attack, defense, and morale. So the hospital buffs, that sort of stuff. If you don't need to, I would say kind of skip that. Max that out later if you get to that point. But everything else you want to max out for the unit tech here. And then going back to your unit tech, and for a while here, I kind of skipped over this, but now we know the requirements for tier 11. And that made this unit tech, finishing this stuff out, so much more important. So after you get your special forces, all the unit tech maxed out in here, and you're starting to work on your mastery tree, between hero tech and unit tech, you'll want to spend a good amount of time making sure you get all your unit tech maxed out. Don't worry about the troop capacity. That one you can kind of skip. But this stuff right here is so important in order to give you the most power for getting through the new tier 11 campaign. So if you get to a point, say, between season 3 and season 4, where you have, your special forces is in a really good spot, your hero tech is in a pretty good spot, just go back and make sure all your hero tech is tidied up. And then you'll want to pick one mastery tree, whatever your main team is, and get that to 100%. I myself wish now that I had known this, that I would have pushed my aircraft mastery to 100% because of the march size increase. This is so significant, especially now. It was very helpful before, but with the power that we're getting from the tier 11 upgrades and the tier 11 troops whenever we actually unlock them, having this increased march size is insanely important. So I am now going through this, and it's going to be a bit painful, but I'm going to try to get down here and maximize my march speed or my march size as much as I can, because the only other way to do that is the gorilla. Once you have everything else maxed out, the gorilla and obviously the legendary survivor Shirley, this is one of the only other ways, and then the God of Judgment, which is very, very difficult to obtain and level up. So this is one of the ways that you can spend money and increase your march size. So if you want to do that, this is another way too. And this is for every single hero gets +2, and then +4, +6, +10. So it just adds 2 to each level. So this is very, very important too. If you're trying to find ways to maximize your march size, Shirley is definitely one of those. So just going over here, you can see I have 3,119 units. That translates to 12,872 power. When I go into here, sorry, I need to end training, start here real quick. So that just wrapped up for me. I'm going to challenge the boss, and you'll see he has a power level 2. And if you are not above it, you are not going to beat it. You could be literally 1 point below his power level, and you will not beat it. You need to exceed his power in order to beat that level. So only 2 ways to get that is to increase your troop size for your team or increase your unit power. So those are the key things that you're focusing on trying to get to your level 11 units unlocked. So while you don't necessarily need to get your mastery tech all the way to 100%, because 100% would mean you'd have to go down here and maximize the damage reduction, you actually need to end up right around, it's like 95% or so, in order to get the most, or the increase your march size to max for whatever team that you're looking at doing. So technically you don't have to finish this last section, you just need to get down to here. So it's about 95%, but you might as well go ahead and max out this entire tree, get that damage reduction, because that's pretty useful as well. So again, just to emphasize, unit tech, special forces tech, make sure you guys have that stuff maxed out. And this is another big thing too. You don't want to drag your feet on your headquarters levels. So whenever you're leveling up, when the Age of Oil stuff comes out, make sure you're pushing right away, because the sooner you get through the Age of Oil tech tree, and if you don't know what that is, it's this little tech tree right here where you need to push through and you unlock another tech center, which is very, very helpful. You also get the parts factory, drone parts factory, which is also very helpful, getting free drone parts every day. And then obviously the last thing down here is the ability to increase your headquarters to level 35. So you want to push through that as fast as you can. Get through your headquarters levels as fast as you can, because that's going to give you the ability to get your heroes up to 175, which is currently the max for hero levels. And whenever you increase your hero levels, the more troops you can carry. So all this stuff really just points to maximizing your troop capacity for your team, and then troop actual power, which is going to translate to this power level right here. And just to give you guys an idea of how much power I've gotten from this, about 2 weeks ago before this dropped, my team was like 57.5 million. So I've gained about 2.5 million power. A big chunk of that, about 2 million or so, has been just from the leveling up of the tier 11 tech. I don't even have the tier 11 troops unlocked. I am at 12% on the gun here, so I can do another level. You see, you get a little increase here, but all these stats, if you click on this little icon, it shows you my hero attack, HP, defense, and the squad morale has increased by this much. So just like the gorilla, while you don't get to use it right away until you actually unlock it, you do get these stat increases from this, which is really nice. You know, it's going to take a lot of time for majority of players, unless you're going to spend a lot of money to unlock these. So the fact that you get power immediately is very nice. But that's it for this episode, everyone. I hope this makes sense, and to give you guys some guidance on what to focus on before you get into Season 4 or after you get into Season 4, on what you need to have wrapped up, so whenever you get outside of Season 4, you're able to get into the Tier 11 stuff and get through as much as possible, because you're already set up with your tech, your march size, and all that stuff. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.